Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Look, are you trying to rebuild your personal credit so that you can get access to tens of thousands of dollars? Okay. Now, if that's you, this video is going to help you because I'm going to show you the proper tier-based way to actually build your credit using credit cards in order for you to get money. All right. Now, the first one we're going to start it out with is Capital One. Now, Capital One, the interesting thing about Capital One covers all the spectrum, okay? Meaning that it goes from the worst to the best, right? So when you are in your worst position and you're needing to rebuild your credit, then you want to look at the Capital One Platinum Secured Card, right? And so here's the thing about it, because there's some things that many people don't know. You can have security deposit of $49, $99, or $200 refundable deposit, all right? Now, there's a couple tricks to getting unsecured I'm going to talk about as well. Now, the next one you're looking at is the Quicksilver secured, right? And so it's $200 refundable. So these would be your top two. Now, here's the key in order to get these unsecured so that you can get access to more funding. Now, here's the thing about it. One is that you would have to update your income. Number two, you would have to update your rental or mortgage status, right? Saying how much you pay in rent or how much you pay in mortgage, right? So that's a key. Now, here's another key. After 6 months, if they don't offer you a unsecured card, what you would have to do every 7 days for almost a month, it may be sooner, but every 7 days, you should keep checking back for the pre-approval of the unsecured, okay? But what you have to do, you're triggering the system, right? So after 6 months, now another key to this is make sure that you are heavily using these security cards. So with these security cards, what you want to do, if you have like a Netflix, if you have like buying gas, buying food and stuff like that, you want to heavily use these security cards. Now, the trick of this is making sure when you're using these security cards, before the closing date, you want to make sure you try to pay that security card down to about 10%. The reason is this is going to help jump your credit score. Another thing you can do is either pay daily on your credit card or pay weekly on your credit card. This also helps your credit score jump as well. But these would be like the two most reliable cards, especially if you have real bad credit. Now, again, Capital One is a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, and a tier 4 type of account with these credit cards, all right? And I'm going to get more into that. Now, another unique thing about Capital One, say that you have a Capital One credit card that went bad, that charged off for over a year. Long as it's over a year, Capital One will reissue you a new credit card. That's right. If you have a credit card that's been charged off over a year with Capital One, they'll reissue you a new credit card. Now, here's another thing about Capital One. Reason I like Capital One is because they offer a business credit card. So if you have bad credit, like 580 credit score, one of the interesting things about this is that you still may, even though like you had a card account with them that went bad on the personal side, you still may qualify for this here Capital One Spark Classic. All right. Now, understanding that this here credit card does report both on the personal and business side. All right. So just keep that in mind, but it starts at a 580 credit score. So this would be your tier 1 through tier 4. This is probably one of your easiest of the top tiers, which is a tier 1 classified. This is probably going to be your easy. Now, here's your tier 2. These are your regional banks. All right. Now, the reason I'm designed this video like this so you can understand how to tier stack in order to get the maximum amount of funding. Right? So Truist, they have a secured card as well. All right. So by you opening up a secured card with Truist, what happens is you're in their database. Now Truist does pull Equifax, right? But here's the thing about it. I was just explaining to you how to use that secured card. The more you use it and everything, right? So the more you use it, the more they're familiar with it. Now, I would definitely tell you with Truist, you probably want to garden the relationship as well because they're very flexible when it comes to funding. So, meaning that you open up a personal account as well as a business account and a savings account, right? Because most people want to go to Truist, they may looking to start a small business, and they know that Truist is very flexible with giving up funding and stuff like that. So being able to nurture the account. So you start out with a secured card. You open up the personal account, the savings account. Then you can even open up the business account. And just make sure in the business account you're putting like $25, $50 a week into that account as your credit starts to build. Now, again, after 6 to 9 months, it puts you in a position that you have enough deposits and stuff going on that they will consider transferring it over to a unsecured card. Now, had they not unsecured and turned it over to an unsecured card, that does not stop you from applying for a unsecured card, okay? Because you already have that relationship with them. Another institution is PNC. PNC Bank. They offer a secured card, and as you can see right here, theirs go from 300 to 2,500. All right. Now the reason again that I'm talking about these here regional banks is because with regional banks, besides that Capital One, the regional banks, when it comes to funding, they tend to be more forgiving and they'll give you a lot more money than your tier one, especially if you don't have like big deposits and stuff like that. Your tier one banks like Chase Bank of America, those type of institutions, they kind of like I would say reserved in terms of what it is that they're willing to give you, okay? But again, building that base with your regional banks is so much better when you have bad credit. The reason is, again, because now they know you. Give it 6 months, 9 months, then you can start going after the unsecured, all right? Now, keep in mind, you can have all three of these institutions. There are other regional banks out there, but these are some of your top regional banks. Speaking of regional banks, you have Regions Bank as well. Now with Regions, you have to put in at least $250. All right. Now I know you're saying, well, do I have to have all these banks at once? No. Like I said, just long as you have like that tier one, which is your Capital One, and then you can choose between your tier two banks, which is your Truist, your PNC, your Regions Bank, right? And again, you're building that foundation not only to get access to more personal funding, but also building a relationship. So if you decide to start a business, getting access to business funding as well. All right. So especially when you have bad credit, this is exactly how you want to map out for positioning yourself to get access to more funding. Now, let's jump over to our tier three. Yeah, our tier three is usually our credit unions. Now, with our credit unions, you have Connecta. Okay, they're based in California. Experian. When you join Connecta, they will not do a hard pull on your credit to join. They do check systems. Excuse me. They do check systems, as well as when you actually do apply, it will be like an Experian FICO 9. So that's the thing about it. I'm trying to figure out the best way for you to position yourself. Not only are you just going to open up accounts, but be able to position yourself 6 to 9 months down the road to be able to get the maximum amount. Here's another one, and this is one of the ones, but you, again, with this here, you have to jump through hoops, and this is Navy Federal. So with the Navy Federal and Reward Security Card. Now the good thing about this, see this low as $200, okay? Now here's the interesting thing about it. You deposit at $200. If you utilize the card, pay it down, utilize the card, keep the card under 10%. But make sure that you use it, okay? Or if you're going to go over that 10%, just make sure before the closing date, and they pull TransUnion, TransUnion FICO 9, All right, for some of you all may not know what your FICO 9 scores is or your accurate FICO 9 scores. Click the link and get access. Click the link in the description and get access to your real credit report. Now, the interesting thing about it, like I said, with this $200 of good on-time payments, utilization and stuff, this usually converts to an unsecured $2,000 credit card. Okay, DCU. Why am I choosing DCU? DCU would usually pull like an Equifax mortgage score or something like that. But here's the interesting thing about it. It is a secured card. But here's another crazy part about DCU, and we're going to discuss this more. With DCU, once you're in their database for at least 90 days, here's the thing about it. They offer a quick loan. That quick loan, you can borrow up to $2,000 with that quick loan as well. Okay, so if you need some extra money in your pocket after you've been with DCU for a certain amount of time with deposits and making sure that your account is up to date, then you can borrow up to $2,000. All right, these are our tier 4. Okay, so these are our tier 4. Now, if you're looking to add accounts to positive trade lines, like you have charge-offs, you have collections, but they have balances on them, and you're trying to add more positive to help raise up the credit score, then you want to go with these 2 tier 4 accounts. And that's also including with your tier 4 accounts, you can also include like authorized users. Now with authorized users, if you need help choosing the right type of authorized users, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one consultation. That being said, here's the situation. So you have extra. So what it is with extra, they want to see that you have deposits going on and stuff. And what with extra do, they'll report to the personal credit bureaus as well. Now with extra, the interesting thing about it, it's usually reporting to Experian and Equifax, okay? And they give you a credit limit of $1,500, all right? So one of the things you have to understand that with the app on your phone, they use Plaid to verify like your open account, make sure that you have deposits and stuff like that. But it's like one of the easiest cards you want to get. And this is a tier 4 account as well. Then you have another unsecured card, and this is Prosper. Okay, Prosper also offers this card. Now it's no annual fees, no security deposit required. Okay, they don't charge ATM fees as well. Now the interesting thing about this, their credit limits up to 3,000. So you go from 500 up to 3,000, right? And this is a unsecured card. Like I said, these are tier 4, but they're unsecured cards. So again, you're building that stage, rebuilding your credit because you're adding more positive trade lines to the credit file. And these are open revolving accounts. Like I said, you can choose Capital One for a secured card on the stage 1, and then your Truist or PNC or Regions. Then that's your tier 2. Then you have your tier 3, which is your credit unions, which is Connecta, Navy Federal, DCU, just giving you some examples. And then your tier 4, like I said, these are the ones that you can get with no deposits and stuff like that. Now, a lot of people like Mission Lane is because not only you can apply for this with no impact on the credit, as you can see here, no impact on the credit. All right, but they're one of the easiest credit cards for many people to get. They're very forgiving if you're just coming out of a bankruptcy as well. Okay, so these are all of your unsecured cards. Now, there's one card I wanted to talk to you about, and this is the Tomo card. And the reason this Tomo card, you don't need a credit score to get this here card. It's a charge card to be exact, so it's not even a revolving card. It's a charge card. But the thing about it, the limits go up to 10,000, okay? But it reports to all 3 credit bureaus, okay? So they got the Tomo Boost, build credit with all of your bills and stuff. So as you can see here, like your telephone, your Hulu, T-Mobile, all of that stuff. But it reports to TransUnion and Experian. All right. So now you actually have a roadmap in terms of using revolving cards as well as unsecured credit cards to help rebuild your bad credit. Now, this once these trade lines start reporting, okay, then again you may want to consider maybe one or two authorized users. And so what that's going to do, that's going to help bring up the score. Now, we didn't talk too much about the best type of personal loans for bad credit, which we're going to get in touch with. We're going to talk about that in another video. If you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.